is a weird song. This is Space Odyssey by the Birds. It's in my Star Trek playlist. Okay. Oh, this is the Pipe Dream. I talked about them in another video. Originally, it was just, oh, I'm gonna have so many blog posts, and then when someone finds this, they're gonna have so much stuff to look through. And now, it's videos too. It's everything. Art, videos, I do everything. And, you know, I told people how the thing keeping me back from making videos was the idea of having to edit in all the references. And then I was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna post raw footage, and then if someone else wants to edit it, they can do it. I don't give a shit if you don't know what I'm talking about. I'm a joy to be around. A joy to be around. A joy. I'm Tumblr user Split Level House. When I told my Karaluk about it, about how I was like, if someone wants to do it, they can download it themselves. And he looked at me like I was like a genius, and I was like, I was talking to my choir professor today, doing just voice placements. I'm in alto 2 as always. And one of the things she was like, you know, you have a very full range. And I was like, well, it's because I listen to real music. And she was just like, and I was like, a lot of people get surprised when I say I like improvisational jazz. And she tells me, one of the first words that I think of with you is eclectic. Nobody should be surprised when you say you like anything. Unless it's bigotry and racism. Splitwells would never. Woke. My nemesis is evil. Woke. The wokest mother woke on planet woke, and I will never stop woking. I am never gonna stop being woke. I'm gonna keep woke, even if they try to get me, even if they send the goons after me, I will never stop woking. Woke, I am the woke mob. We were talking about, like, vocal quality. She does it A, B, C, and I was like, what exactly does that mean? And she was saying it was, like, tones. For her, A is, like, a bright sound, B is a more full, round sound, and then C is a lighter sound. And she said I was a B, and I was like, this is perfect. Because I literally have Bee-wee with me right now. And she was like, Bee-wee? And I was like, Bee-wee. And she was like, cute. It's first edition. All of mine are first edition except my my purple fuzzy PP. Which is actually the first one I got in like 2021. So it's an old one. I was looking on to see if I could, you know, I was like, maybe if I get one used, it'll be less. No. No. These shits are like so who knows, maybe this is worth something, but I don't give a shit. They're mine. They're mine and nobody else's. I don't care I have a bunch of duplicates. It's funnier. It's more fun that there's so many of them. And these are series 2, man. I don't feel like listening to this song. Oh no. This is one of my favorites. This is one of my favorites, which means this video is gonna probably get freaking banned in Russia because they don't like my friggity dickin' hippie music. So I guess I can say whatever I want about Putin. Fuck that guy. What? Woke mob. Woke mob. This filter makes him look like radioactive. But also gorgeous. Like look at how handsome he is. Oh my gosh, you can see the reflection of him in his eyes. That's freaky. Oh my gosh. There's literally a wee trapped. He's trapped. His soul. What? So many people give hippies so much undeserved shit. When I would be talking about 60s counterculture and then someone went, Charles Manson's followers, they were these lost souls and they would call themselves flower children. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? And they said, I watched it in a documentary. I'm like, flower children? Flower children were not Charles Manson's followers. Flower children were the hippies protesting the Vietnam War who ascribed to flower power, which was coined by beat poet Allen Ginsberg, and it's fighting war with peace and it would and love and not trying to start race wars. That is not hippie shit. Race wars are not hippie shit. Fighting fascism is hippie shit. But you have to understand, it's the Cultural Revolution part of it. It is the Enlightenment. It is the artists. I'm not gonna do any good on the front lines. I get overwhelmed when someone talks to me mean. I'm a vlogger, I'm a blogger, I make videos, I make art, I say what I want. And when I say something that's a little more controversial, I either say it in a extremely calm tone, as if it is a completely normal thing to say that everybody does, or I put it under the guise of a little bit of a silly voice, or whatever. One time someone got mad at me for liking Polish music. They were like, "What do you know about Tutti Frutti?" And I said, "This is a Polish cover by Karina Stanek." And they looked at me with disgust, and then 2 days later said they never wanted to speak to me again. Because it always has to be my way. Well, that's because my way is choosing beauty and love and art, and why the fuck wouldn't you want this? I say stop giving hippie shit. And I don't... In the true sense, the hippies was the 1960s counterculture movement. Then there was the commercialization of it. The New Age. Sure, you can have New Agers who are, like, kind of hippies, but when it's, like... You have to be woke. There's also the offshoot, the Yippies, the Youth International Party, which was the younger group of people in the 60s counterculture movement, and that's where you had a lot of the radicals, but it's like you don't have to, young people aren't the only one in the revolution, but when you're young, you probably don't have as many resources as an older person, and strength in numbers and knowledge is power. I don't know. I don't know how to form a coalition. When I was I was talking about the way I smoke weed, the way I smoke, and I'd like to use it to enhance my life rather than to distract from it, because there is beauty in everything. You just have to look at the details. And so I was trying to be like, rather than just taking a hit, being like, whoa, be mindful. Hold it in. So just take smaller hits, because you're being freaking wasteful. And then when I was just being a little bit like, you know, it's not like, oh, energy wavelengths. It's like mood and taking time to center yourself. And then they said that I was sounding cult-like, and I was like, I do not like people enough to be a cult leader. I do not want a bunch of people worshiping me. I want people to be themselves. I want other artists. I just want a cultural revolution. Is that so much to ask? Is that so much to ask? Is that so much to ask that we have another Laurel Canyon? Is it so much to ask that we have a yellow house that doesn't end because of artistic disputes? Can I ask that someone knows what the hell I mean? Oh wait, you can find all of it on my friggity dickin' Tumblr if you just go read. Go read my blog. Go. I reference my blog all the time in my videos. I quote my blog. If you really like, what the hell is this guy going on about, then go to my freaking blog. Everything is so friggity dick and homogenized. So many people are doing the same thing. You know who isn't doing what everybody else is doing? Me. 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 Me, 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 me. We need more artists. I'm sick. I'm sick of it just being conventionally attractive. Everybody looks the same. Where are the freaks? Where are the weirdos? Where are the ugly people? Where are the pores on people's skin? Watch Star Trek. I love it. They have textured skin. They look like real human beings. But they're just dolled up in a bunch of makeup because it's the 60s. And it was about maximalism. And even James T. Kirk is wearing makeup in The Enemy Within when he gets split into two. And the aggressive side of him gets a scratch on his face. And so he's like, oh, I have to cover it up. And so he goes to Kirk's quarter and there's makeup in there. Just sitting on the counter, and he uses it. He puts it on his face. So James C. Kirk just does makeup. Spock has eyeshadow, and then they got rid of it in Strange New Worlds, and I'm just like, what the actual heck balls? What the frick? What about gay Spock? What about gay Spock? What about Kirk Spock OG Mpreg? Star Trek is the wokest motherfucking shit on Earth, and you're telling me that they aren't gay in the reboot, in the 2025 version, and instead it has fascist overtones, where in the Gorns in the original Star Trek episode, Kirk was given the opportunity to kill him because they said that only one may survive, but then he was like, wait, no, they might have a side to this, and then that person the Gorn got beamed up, and they were like, we tested you, we just wanted to see if you would go to violence. And then in the reboot, they were just like, Gorn's bad. This shit pissed me off. This is Big Joe. I don't know if I've mentioned him before, and I say this when there's not a single person, at least not yet, who has watched every single one of my videos, except me, although I did not watch the entirety of my 2-hour one. I compiled it, and then I posted it, and that was just my Wi-Fi was out, so I was just talking for a day. Sometimes I don't know, it depends if I feel like listening to myself talk, because I'm always saying the same shit. If I say something freaking hilarious, I'm gonna freaking reuse it as many times as I want, because I do this shit in person as well. They aren't freaking ready for me. They are ready. Because before it was just that I love to never talk. I love to never stop talking. But I needed I needed someone there to be able to talk. But now I just do all of it to my computer, and there's nothing that nobody can do about it. And I can do it however I want. And the nice thing about talking to my computer is that nobody freaking interrupts me. It was I listen to a lot of niche things. I do a lot of niche things, but I have so many niche interests that don't even have auto tag recommendations. So many tags on the entirety of Tumblr. I am the only thing that exists there. I mean, there's probably... You don't understand, though. I have so many tags. I forget about them sometimes, and then I'm doing something, and I'm like, this reminds me of Kermit, Phil, Dan, Joker, which was a tag I had. Phantom tolerance, multi-shipping, polycule, philosophically polyamorous, nonconformity, nonconformist, American desecrator, 60s CC, psychedelia, the encyclopedia of psychoactive plants, Dr. Leary, revolutionary, farscape, cross-dressing lesbian, or cross-dressing farscape lesbian? Farscape is so good, and nobody in my life has ever even heard of it. Except for my TV genres professor. Who would guess that my professor of TV has seen a lot of TV? When we were talking about the Twilight Zone, I was like, oh yeah, William Shatner was in an episode of the Twilight Zone, because I was thinking of someone posted a screenshot of him from it, and he was like, oh, I just had a teensy mental breakdown, and I'm fine now, and I was like, this might just be Captain James T. Kirk. Again, you can find that on my Tumblr. My Tumblr blog, where I blog. I have more people following my blog than I did when I started, and I had more people following my blog than when I started even a few months ago, so that's friggin' great. I just say my thoughts. I don't know what else to do. Are you supposed to, like, sit there and think, and then think of a way to phrase it? Wouldn't it be so much easier for you to just say what you're thinking, and someone would just go, what? And then you just try it again and again until they understood? But people don't have any motherfucking patience. Never let me finish. And then they get mad. They get mad because they don't understand, and they have misconceptions, and I'm gonna explode a fascist. I'm gonna go shoot a fascist. I'm gonna go bomb a fascist. Rhetorically, proverbially, satirically. You know that's right. But now it's not even just like, oh, my interests. I really only know people on Tumblr. People on Tumblr have no fucking idea what I'm talking about. None of them know Piotr Szczepany, Karolina Sentor. Unless they follow me. One time, before a Teller show, I brought my speakers and I started playing my Mod Noir playlist because someone mentioned Superman, and I was like, I have an espionage noir meets Superman big band playlist. And, you know, kind of grooving along, and someone was like, Mr. Rhythm, you're off beat. And I'm like, there's time signatures in this Polish music is whack. There's a lot of stylistic stuff happening. I don't really know that. I don't really know music theory like that, and like time measures, tempos, things. I focus more on the sound and the musicology part and the art of it, rather than the math of music. And there's like there will be instruments playing at a different time signature than the beat. So sometimes I'm not even going on the main beat. I'm thinking about a specific instrument that you probably didn't even hear. Or I don't know. It's tricky music. I'd like to see you try and keep up on the rhythm. It changes. They do whatever the fuck. And that's why I like it. It's weird. Weird Slav. Weird Slav. Just like Pavel Chekhov. He takes a moment to talk about Russia at any moment possible. It was the Cold War. It was the Cold War. They had a Japanese man, a black woman, they had a Russian man, and then they used Spock, the alien, to talk about ethnic and race relations. And I said that in my class, and I was like, people tend to care more and they tend to empathize more when it's a white person. And the guy next to me was like, I like that guy fucked with the shit I was saying. Like, it was a small reaction, but, you know, I appreciated it. Even my little, like, I'd be like, yeah, I was like the Avengers, and he was like, and I was like, it's a 1969 show, although that's, I think, when, I don't know when it ran exactly. I haven't actually watched a ton of it, but, when I watched it, I was, like, super locked in. And, you know, it's a Sherlock. They're pretty self-explanatory. They're more so defined by the characters and the take on Sherlock. And that's why this one guy was in my class. I'm under the belief that the original is always better. Well, the original is Sherlock Holmes, and Sherlock Holmes is awesome, but also Psych is awesome, The X-Files is awesome. Everything is a reference on everything, and if that guy tries to make that point again, oh my god, I'm going to be so ready. These people don't, like, when people wrote their introduction posts, they were like, I am a this major, and I'm really looking forward to this, and I guess I would say this is my favorite show, and, I don't really, I guess I'd, like this sci-fi show, and then they were just like, I'm interested in learning more about TV, and I didn't even say my major. It's complicated. I didn't even say my major. And then I just started talking about why I like TV. I was like, I like Star Trek because it's political, and I think The X-Files is a work of art. And then I also I dropped like every show that I was a fan of. And then someone gave me an ask, and they're like, the fact that you mentioned the Avengers, and then they told me about a show, Lost in Space, from the 1960s. Yum, 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 yum. Sci-fi is just so free. And it's so woke. At least it was, before everything got super military. Everything, it all just feels like cyberpunk. And it's not that it's a bad aesthetic, it's just that, like, it's all that. When it used to just, the 60s in space, there was an actual set aesthetics. They were like, yeah, 200 years in the future, people are gonna be rocking beehives. The dresses, the colors, the fact that it's like so much of it is a sound stage, but it still looks so amazing and wonderful. I just really like Star Trek, man.